Hey you guys, this is Rick back here again. Listen, I only got about 3 minutes and 17 seconds to tell you that I have in the background kind of like the thing about the Enoch story and the fallen angels. Now, what you have to understand is that the Son of God is you once you have gone into this higher realm. I'm not going to be able to control much, I'm just going to try to end it. But anyways, once you've been up in the higher realms of this, you become a son of God. But there's something happens that causes you to fall back down to the other side, and that's what this is. This is the story about you falling from this graceful place back to falling in love with something like the female, the emotional side of us, and making love and creating these giants of the time. And that giant of the time is actually the idea that they when they fornicate, when you fornicate with the left side, you get anger and scary things, like they taught them how to dress up and do everything that has to do with the outside, pretty up, and idol worship. It taught them how to make tools and hammers and weapons of war. It's probably also where religion comes in, but the angry side of religion, as we are being given to it today, as we are being taught it today, as it being real and quite angry. But in fact, really what it is about you falling from grace and holding on to the lower, taking the lower, creating giants among you. I mean, who can touch Jesus? Who can touch Moses? Who can touch any of these things? So these giants that we created turn around and devour us as soon as we men cannot sustain them any longer. So do you see, it's still a beautiful story about, once we get off the uneven path here, we're going to cause trouble, and eventually we have to seek within and go back. We have to restore things. We want to bring things back to normal. And that's where everyone gets destroyed and eaten and stuff like that. It comes in and destroys mankind, So, it's the same kind of story where God is just absolutely mad at all of the hatred. And, we look around and see all the hatred and all the wars and everything done in His name. And here we are, trapped in it, But it was of our invention. It's actually of our unextending ways of not reaching or connecting to the other side. And here it is, written thousands of years before Christianity and thousands of years before something along the lines of Judaism, all right? Probably along the lines of those places where Hindu and Buddha and stuff like that came out. It's the exact same symbolism. They're written by the exact same guys.
There is a forbidden book, lost for centuries, that includes fallen angels, bloodthirsty giants,
three is in here a lot.
and a
Three is
warning
that being
to
on the
all
top of
humanity.
things, he's the seventh from Adam, Just listen to the story, see when the three comes in, there's about to be an intervention.
An ancient writing,
Remember that?
With divine secrets, dreams, and visions. A tour of heaven and hell, guided by the angel Uriel. The Book of Enoch is named for the man who the Holy Bible says walked with God.
Walked with God.
Enoch walked with God after the birth of Methuselah 300 years, and had other sons and daughters. Thus all the days of Enoch were 365 years. Enoch walked with God. Then he was no more, because God took him.
Because he changed into
It is a daunting
someone else,
manuscript.
to something else.
5 volumes containing 108 chapters. For many ancient Christians, the Book of Enoch was essential. Yet it was banned from the Christian Bible.
We don't know why this literature was ultimately excluded from the canon. Perhaps it's because of its description of the fall of the rebel angels and their mating with mortals.
It's because it's already in Genesis.
Its
They already talk
understanding
about it.
of the end of time
They already talked
fell
about
out of
it.
favor with Jews and
Don't think that
Christians.
they're afraid to talk about crazy,
The
kill
Book
you
of
shit
Enoch
stuff.
begins with a warning to all humanity that a divine judgment has been rendered and a sentence will be imposed. God tells Enoch that all life on earth will be destroyed in a violent flood. And, as with the story in Genesis, God blames this evil on the sons of God, angels who lusted after the daughters of men.
This is where the
These
Noah
angels
story
are
is.
sometimes
Goddamn.
referred to as watchers. They keep constant watch. And they decide one day, about 200 of them, that
200?
they're going to descend to the earth.
You and me are two.
They
We are God's
would
creation.
like to very much make contact with these mortal women.
The Book of Enoch may have been an attempt to expand on the mysterious giants, the sons of God, and the daughters of the earth, spoken of in Genesis.
Sons of God.
Anytime you read the
John.
book of Genesis, there are all kinds of unanswered questions. Suddenly, there is this quick few verses at the beginning of the flood story about giants in the land that come from the sons of God mixing with the daughters of the earth. And
They
you
come
stop and
from
think,
the
wait a
land
minute, what's this
down
all
under.
about? It's like it went by too fast. And you want to grab it and say, wait a minute, what was this?
It does go
The
by
Book of
really
Enoch offers a disturbing vision of the fall of the angels who lust after earthly women.
And they began to go into them, and to defile themselves with them, and they taught them charms and enchantments. And they became pregnant, and they bare great giants whose height was 3,000 ells. And when men could no longer sustain them, the giants turned against them and devoured mankind.
Sounds like a meditation story to me. Sounds just
That
like
these angels have crossed over this boundary that they shouldn't have. They were spiritual beings and they were to remain as such. When they decided to descend upon earth, this unleashed upon the earth all sorts of problems. Not only these giants who are bloodthirsty and violent, but also these angels went on to teach humankind a variety of forbidden crafts. They also taught human beings how to make weapons of war.
Now, the good angels, the ones not tempted by these beautiful women, go to God and say, you know, there's a lot of bloodshed caused by these bad angels.
that's me, man. That's me. I'm
At
talking
which
to the
point
Lord.
God says we need to bind Azazel, the sort of lead
firstborn.
fallen angel,
Firstborn.
to bind him and to then cast him into a pit. We might think of this as how do we take care of nuclear waste in the 21st century.
I had enough. Here, we got
You
it.
take it out to
Here, I don't know
a
if I
part
can
of
turn them
the
on.
world where no one lives, and you bury it as deep as you can.
Do you
For
see,
this
that doesn't get rid of
community,
things. That does not
the
get rid of things.
Angel was
That
like that sort of
idea of
nuclear
taking and
waste.
burying that shit someplace else is
Dangerous.
in another part of the story. You get
Volatile.
no profit out of that.
After
So
the
don't
rebel
believe in
angels
this
are
crap.
cast
All right. Well,
into the
anyways, I
depths of
love
the
you, and
earth,
this is God's honest
Enoch
truth.
has a
Don't believe
dream
in this
vision.
shit. Don't
The lead
believe
angel,
a word of
Azazel,
it. All right.
begs
I best to you.
Enoch
Love
to
you.
plead their case before God, to petition the Almighty